We hear a lot about if we want to connect with the Imam of our time, we're told to, one of the things we can do is to pray for him. I don't really understand how our prayers are meaningful to him because he holds such a high position. And so how does our prayer affect him, and what is the meaning of our prayer for him? And also, how should we pray for him? Like, what should we pray for? Like, what's the formality?
Thank you. Very good question. And I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to answer another question that was also, I forgot about this, that I said in the lecture, a leaf doesn't fall without the permission of the Imam, and a person asked about that as well. I'm going to address the position of an Imam as well, and after that I answer this question. So praying for the Imam, it does affect, it definitely has effect. Every person, every mu'min's prayer, it's not without any effect. For example, you see this stuff that happened with Iran or Palestine. A lot of the ulama came out and said to read, for example, these ayahs, I don't know if you guys saw them, but they're like leaflets came out, or things on different social media platforms came out saying, read, for example, this surah or this dua, and so on and so forth. And we have been told to read, for example, the dua for the well-being of Imam Zaman alayhi salam that we always read after namaz. For example, we are told to read them, and it does have an effect. Now the effects is two. Number one, yes, of course, when I'm asking Allah for example, bless Rasulullah or bless Imam Zaman alayhi salam, not only does it have effect on the Imam, but it has an effect on me, because I'm asking Allah to bless them, but then and the Imam is just. So whenever you do something for the Imam will always do back to you. That's why, for example, when you give sadaqah you give sadaqah for your well-being, they always say, for example, if you're going to give, I don't know, let's say $10 for yourself, always do the intention that like $8 I'm giving sadaqah for the Imam, $2 for myself. Why? Because then the Imam will give sadaqah for you. It's not that you do something for the Imam and the Imam will not do it back to you. They're full of justice, they're full of haqq. So when you pray for the Imam, what happens is it's like a game kind of thing, where the Imam then prays for you, and that's the effect, that's the true effect. Yes, my prayer has effect as well, okay, because all prayers have effect. All prayers have effect. And that's not because, yes, I'm nobody, but Allah is Arhamar Rahimin, and He gives the effect because I'm asking for it. However, the more effect is because you're asking for the Imam then prays for you, and this connection is there. By you just praying for the Imam itself, there is some kind of connection, because to be honest, if we truly think about it, the connection between us and the Imam is not very tangible sometimes with us. We forget about the Imam. It's not something sometimes I can go to straight away and understand it as much. But when you build a relationship, when you speak to him, when you write letters to him, for example, as they do, for example, in Jam Karan, they've got these wells behind the masjid, and you can write letters and you can throw it in the well. Okay, these are all signs of connection. Yes, we might not even have hadith for it. Yeah, but it's not against Islam. No, you're writing it because of a connection. It's like a pen pal that you feel is there. These are all ways to make you feel more connected to the Imam. So that's to the question of it having an effect. Of course it does. And how do we now make this connection stronger? The first and most important thing is the hadith from Imam Hassan alayhi salam, saying that if you truly have hub towards us, then listen to us. And the most thing that the Imam say is stay away from haram, do your wajibat. Actually, not staying away from sinning and doing your wajibat, that's the first connection to the Imam. The Imam is the purest of creation. So they are more connected to something that is pure. Not that, of course, you have to be completely pure to go to him. No, we go to the Imams to get purified. But the pure you are, the closer you are to him. The more full of light you are, because they're so close to Allah. And then second of all, having a connection, reading ziyarat for him. For example, ziyarat of Ali Yasin, or different ziyarats to, if you have time, for example, Ziyarat Jami Kabir is a very good one. Reading it for the Imam. Having in your program, for example, every Friday night, I'm going to read this. Every day, I'll read one page of the Quran. Instead of me reading it, I'm reading on the behalf of the Imam to Allah, for example. on the behalf of the Imam. Sometimes when you read Ziyad Ashura, instead of saying I'm reading Ziyad Ashura, there's always a little bit of arrogance there. No, I'm reading Ziyad Ashura on behalf of Imam al-Zaman alayhi salam for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This is one of the, I don't want to use the word trick, but it's like a good trick that even the ulama used to use. So it's on behalf of the Ma'sumin alayhi salam. Sometimes when you go to the Ziyad of Imam Rada alayhi salam, you say on the behalf of Lady Ma'suma, as the Ma'suma sallallahu alayhi, I'm reading the Ziyarat and Imam al-Zaman and so on and so forth. So it's inviting all the prophets, for example, on behalf of all the prophets, all the imams, I'm reading so and so. And this makes your connection much stronger, and asking him to help you from sinning, from bringing your ma'rifah higher, and so on and so forth. Now that question, if you don't have a follow-up, I'm going to answer. Do you have a follow-up?
No.
Then I'm going to go to the other part about the leaf falling.